absolutely wonderful community of language enthusiasts. A very big, warm welcome back to another insightful episode of Idiom Insights. I'm Emma, and it's always a highlight of my week to be here with you exploring the rich, fascinating, and often quite funny world of English idioms. Thank you sincerely for choosing to learn with us.
And a massive, cheerful hello from me too. It's Jack, your co-host and dedicated word nerd, ready once again to delve into the definitions, contexts, and stories behind everyday English phrases. Welcome back to Idiom Insights. You know, Emma, today's idioms seem particularly dynamic. They involve putting in maximum effort, stretching boundaries, accidental social blunders, and causing minor annoyance. It feels like they really capture the active side of human endeavor and interaction, both positive and negative.
That's a very perceptive take, Jack. They certainly do describe actions and their consequences. Understanding expressions related to effort, innovation, social missteps, and irritation helps learners navigate conversations more skillfully. It's not just about knowing the literal translations, which often make no sense, but about grasping the underlying concepts, the level of effort implied, the nature of the risk being taken, the unintentional embarrassment caused, or the degree of annoyance provoked. Getting these nuances right is crucial for both understanding others accurately and expressing oneself clearly and appropriately in English.
Couldn't agree more, Emma. It's about mastering that communicative toolkit. So let's add some powerful tools to our listeners' kits today. On this thoroughly detailed episode of Idiom Insights, we are going to carefully examine these 4 very expressive idioms. First, exerting maximum effort, pull out all the stops. What exactly are these stops, and why pull them out? Next, going beyond limits, push the envelope, a phrase often associated with innovation and risk-taking. Then the classic social gaffe, put one's foot in one's mouth. We've all been there, haven't we? That moment of instant regret. And finally, causing slight irritation. Ruffle someone's feathers, a gentler way to describe annoying someone.
A really potent quartet today, Jack, covering a great range of intensity and intention. Before we explore the mechanics of pulling out all the stops, we'd just like to share that gentle, friendly nudge from your dedicated Idiom Insights hosts. If you're enjoying these deep dives into the English language and want to stay updated with every new episode, please do consider taking just a brief moment to hit that subscribe or follow button on your podcast app. It's the easiest way to keep learning with us.
Absolutely, hit that button. And if you feel particularly pleased with an episode, giving us a like or leaving a positive rating is like sending us a virtual bouquet. Much appreciated. It genuinely helps other keen learners find idiom insights and helps us understand what resonates with you. Okay, enough encouragement. Emma, let's get down to business. Pull out all the stops. It suggests holding nothing back. What's the origin and the full meaning?
Well, Jack, the origin is widely believed to come from the world of large pipe organs. Organs have stops, which are knobs or levers that control which sets of pipes sound. To get the absolute loudest, fullest, most powerful sound possible from the organ, the player would literally pull out all of these stops, engaging every rank of pipes. So metaphorically, to pull out all the stops means to make the greatest possible effort, use all available resources, and do everything you possibly can to make something successful or impressive. It implies holding nothing back and making a maximum, often elaborate effort.
Ah, the mighty pipe organ. That creates such a powerful image, engaging everything for maximum impact. So it's not just trying hard, it's using every available resource, making the absolute maximum effort imaginable for the situation. You might pull out all the stops for a hugely important client presentation, preparing meticulously, creating stunning visuals, rehearsing extensively, maybe even bringing in extra team members. Or for a very special occasion, like a milestone wedding anniversary party, you wouldn't just have a simple gathering. You'd hire caterers, decorate lavishly, arrange special entertainment. You'd pull out all the stops to make it truly unforgettable. It signifies going far beyond the ordinary level of effort.
Exactly, Jack. Far beyond the ordinary is key. It suggests a level of effort reserved for particularly important occasions or goals. It often implies elaborate preparations and the utilization of every possible advantage or resource. You wouldn't pull out all the stops for a routine weekly meeting, for example. It's saved for times when maximum impact or success is required. It really emphasizes completeness. all the stops are out. Nothing more could possibly be done. It's the ultimate level of exertion and resource deployment.
The ultimate level. I like that. It sets a high bar. Okay, let's hear how Mia and Mark experience or observe this maximum effort. What important event warrants pulling out all the stops?
Mark, I am still amazed by the wedding reception Sarah and Ben threw last Saturday. Wasn't it just incredible? I don't think I've ever been to such a beautifully organized and lavish wedding before.
Incredible is the word, Mia. It was absolutely stunning from start to finish. The venue itself was gorgeous, of course, but it was all the extra details they'd thought of that really blew me away.
Exactly. It wasn't just a nice meal and some music. They had that amazing live jazz band playing during the drinks reception, then that fantastic magician going around the tables during dinner. The elaborate floral arrangements everywhere, the personalized favors for every single guest.
And don't forget the surprise fireworks display at the end of the evening. That must have cost a fortune. And the 5-tier wedding cake that looked like a work of art? They didn't hold back on anything, did they?
Not at all. It felt like they considered every single detail to make it perfect and memorable for everyone. They really, truly pulled out all the stops for their wedding day. You could see how much effort and planning went into making it so spectacular.
They absolutely did. No expense or effort spared. They definitely pulled out all the stops to ensure it was an unforgettable celebration. And it certainly was.
What a wonderful occasion! That description perfectly illustrates the idiom. The wedding wasn't just nice. It was filled with numerous, elaborate, impressive, and likely expensive details.
Precisely. Mia and Mark list multiple examples of exceptional effort and resource use. Live band, magician, fireworks, elaborate cake, personalized items, to justify their conclusion that Sarah and Ben pulled out all the stops, meaning they made the maximum possible effort to create an impressive and memorable event. It clearly conveys that extraordinary level of commitment. Listeners, when is it worth it to pull out all the stops?
Now, from maximum effort within known limits, let's move to challenging those limits entirely. Our second idiom is push the envelope. Jack, this sounds like trying to expand boundaries. What's the specific idea here?
You've got it, Emma, as expanding boundaries is exactly the idea. To push the envelope means to go beyond the normal, accepted limits or capabilities, to innovate, experiment, or take risks in order to achieve something new or more advanced. The phrase originated in aviation and aeronautics, where the flight envelope refers to the scientifically determined safe limits of speed, altitude, and maneuverability for an aircraft. Test pilots who tried to fly beyond these limits were literally pushing the envelope. Idiomatically, it retains this sense of testing or exceeding established boundaries, often in fields like technology, art, science, or even social norms.
The aviation origin really clarifies the limit testing aspect. So, it's not just being creative, it's actively challenging what is currently considered possible or acceptable. A tech company might push the envelope by developing radically new AI capabilities that challenge existing notions of machine intelligence. An artist might push the envelope with performance art that directly confronts societal taboos or expectations. It often implies being daring, innovative, and perhaps even controversial because you are venturing into unexplored or unaccepted territory. It suggests a desire to advance beyond the current state of the art.
Exactly. Daring, innovative, boundary challenging. It often requires courage as you're moving beyond the safe and known. While it can lead to breakthroughs and progress, it also carries risk. The risk of failure, criticism, or perhaps even causing negative consequences by going too far beyond acceptable limits. So, whether pushing the envelope is seen as positive, pioneering, progressive, or negative, reckless, inappropriate, can sometimes depend on the context and the outcome. But the core meaning is always about stretching or exceeding those current boundaries.
That balance between progress and risk is fascinating. Let's see how Mia and Mark are discussing this concept. What area of innovation or boundary pushing are they talking about?
Mark, did you see that documentary last night about the history of architectural design? It featured that incredibly unconventional architect, Elena Petrova.
Elena Petrova? Oh yes, her buildings are unmistakable. They always look so futuristic and almost seem to defy gravity with those strange angles and unusual materials. She's certainly not afraid to be different.
Different is an understatement. The documentary showed how, right from her early career, she was always experimenting with new construction techniques and materials that other architects thought were too risky or impractical. She used things like recycled plastics and engineered bamboo in ways nobody had considered before for large structures.
I remember reading about her floating library project, a building that genuinely looks like it's hovering above the ground. That must have presented enormous engineering challenges. Did the documentary talk about the resistance she faced?
Absolutely. It showed how initially she struggled to get funding, faced criticism from traditionalists who called her designs structurally unsound or just plain ugly, and had difficulties getting planning permissions because her ideas were so unconventional. But she kept going, refining her techniques, working with innovative engineers.
So she really had to fight to get her vision realized. It sounds like she has consistently tried to go beyond the accepted norms of architectural design and engineering throughout her career. She really loves to push the envelope, doesn't she?
That's exactly the phrase the documentary narrator used. They said she continuously pushes the envelope of what's considered possible in building design, challenging our ideas about form, function, and sustainability. And now, of course, she's globally renowned for her innovative work.
That's a perfect example of the idiom applied to creative innovation. Elena Petrova's work is described as consistently challenging established architectural norms and technical limits.
Precisely. Mark identifies her approach as pushing the envelope, and Mia confirms this, highlighting her use of unconventional materials, daring designs, and perseverance against criticism. It clearly illustrates the meaning of going beyond accepted boundaries to achieve something new and innovative. Listeners of Idiom Insights, in what fields do you think it's most important to push the envelope?
Now, from pushing boundaries intentionally, let's turn to crossing lines unintentionally. Our third idiom describes that awkward moment of saying the wrong thing. Put one's foot in one's mouth. Emma, this is such a relatable, cringeworthy moment. What exactly constitutes this social blunder?
Oh, it's universally understood, isn't it, Jack? That horrible feeling when you realize you've just said something you absolutely shouldn't have. To put your foot in your mouth, or put one's foot in it, means to accidentally say something that is embarrassing, tactless, inappropriate, or offensive, often causing awkwardness, embarrassment, or distress to yourself or others. The key here is that it's usually unintentional. A slip of the tongue, a thoughtless remark, or saying something without considering its full implications or the listener's situation. You immediately wish you could take the words back.
That unintentional aspect is crucial. It differentiates it from being deliberately rude or malicious. It's a blunder, a gaffe, born out of carelessness, ignorance, or just not thinking before speaking. You might put your foot in your mouth by asking someone when their baby is due only to find out they aren't pregnant, or congratulating someone on getting a new job, only to discover they were actually fired, or making a joke that relies on a stereotype without realizing someone present fits that stereotype and might be offended. That sinking feeling when you realize your mistake, that's the essence of having put your foot firmly in your mouth.
Exactly. That sinking feeling of immediate regret. It's the verbal equivalent of tripping over in public. You didn't mean to do it, but you've caused awkwardness or offense nonetheless. Often, the person might not even realize their mistake immediately, only noticing the sudden silence or strange reaction from others, and then replaying their words to figure out where they went wrong. It highlights the importance of tact, sensitivity, and sometimes just thinking before speaking, especially in social situations or when discussing sensitive topics.
Tact and sensitivity are definitely the antidotes. Let's listen to Mia and Mark. Who commits the verbal blunder in this scenario?
Oh, Mark, I feel absolutely terrible. I think I really upset Sarah when I was talking to her just now.
Upset Sarah? Why? What happened? You were just having a friendly chat about her holiday plans, weren't you?
Yes. She was telling me how excited she was about finally going on that big trip to South America she's been saving up for years. She was showing me pictures of Machu Picchu and talking about hiking the Inca Trail.
Okay, that sounds lovely. What went wrong?
Well, she mentioned she was going with her boyfriend, David. And then I, without thinking, completely stupidly said something like, "Oh, that's wonderful. Is David finally going to propose on top of Machu Picchu then? It would be the perfect romantic setting."
Oh, Mia, you asked her if he was going to propose? Don't you remember? Sarah told us last month in confidence that she and David had actually had a big conversation about marriage, and he said he wasn't ready for that kind of commitment yet, which really upset her.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I completely forgot about that conversation. Oh no, what must she have thought? When I said it, her face just fell completely and she went very quiet and just mumbled, "I don't think so," and quickly changed the subject. Oh, I feel awful. I totally put my foot in my mouth. That must have been such a painful reminder for her.
Yes, that was definitely a case of putting your foot in it, Mia. Bringing up proposals when you knew he'd recently said he wasn't ready? Ouch! You'll have to find a quiet moment to apologize later and explain you'd completely forgotten their previous conversation.
Oh dear, poor Mia and poor Sarah. That's a classic example of speaking without thinking and hitting a very sensitive spot entirely unintentionally.
Absolutely. Mia immediately recognizes her blunder and uses "put my foot in my mouth" to describe her accidental, tactless, and clearly upsetting remark. Mark confirms it was indeed putting your foot in it. It perfectly illustrates saying something embarrassing or hurtful due to forgetfulness or lack of consideration in the moment. Listeners, what's the best way to recover after you realize you've put your foot in your mouth?
And finally, let's explore our fourth idiom, which describes causing minor annoyance. Ruffle someone's feathers. Jack, the image is of a bird puffing up its feathers when agitated. What kind of annoyance does this idiom typically describe?
It typically describes causing someone to become slightly annoyed, irritated, agitated, or mildly offended, Emma. Just like a bird's smooth feathers get disturbed or ruffled when it's agitated, this idiom suggests upsetting someone's calm or smooth state, but usually only slightly or temporarily. It's generally less severe than making someone truly angry or deeply offended. It implies causing a minor disturbance to someone's composure or opinions, perhaps by challenging them gently, disagreeing with them, or doing something slightly inconvenient or contrary to their expectations.
Minor temporary annoyance or irritation. That's the key level here. It's not about major conflict. You might ruffle someone's feathers by politely disagreeing with their strongly held opinion in a meeting, or perhaps by pointing out a small error in their work, even if done constructively, or even by asking for a small change to established plans that causes them minor inconvenience. It suggests causing a ripple of displeasure rather than a tidal wave of anger. The implication is often that the person whose feathers are ruffled might be slightly oversensitive, or that the issue itself isn't worth getting truly angry about.
That's a great point. It often implies the reaction might be slightly disproportionate, or the issue minor. It contrasts with idioms for causing major anger. You wouldn't say you merely ruffled someone's feathers if they ended up shouting at you. It's reserved for that lower level of irritation or slight offense. It's the feeling of being put out, slightly unsettled, or having your sense of order or opinion gently challenged in a way that causes mild irritation. It's often easy to smooth those feathers down again afterwards.
Exactly. Smoothing the feathers afterwards is often possible. Let's hear Mia and Mark's final conversation. Who gets slightly annoyed and why?
Mark, I had a quick chat with Mr. Henderson about the communal garden again, this time just asking politely if he thought we could possibly put a small bench near the flower beds we planted.
A bench? That sounds like a nice, harmless idea. Somewhere for residents to sit and enjoy the flowers. What did he say? Knowing Mr. Henderson, I assume he didn't just say, "Yes, lovely idea."
Haha. No, he didn't. He immediately frowned and started listing potential problems. Where exactly would it go? Who would pay for it? Would it attract noisy teenagers in the evenings? Would it get vandalized? Who would be responsible for maintaining it? He seemed quite put out by the suggestion.
Even though the flower beds themselves were approved, a simple bench caused all that questioning?
Apparently so. It felt like my suggestion, which I thought was quite innocuous, really seemed to ruffle his feathers. He clearly likes things exactly as they are and seems slightly irritated by any new ideas for the communal space, however small.
It sounds like Mr. Henderson's feathers are rather easily ruffled when it comes to the garden. Maybe he just dislikes any changes he hasn't suggested himself. Well, did you manage to smooth his feathers down again?
Sort of. I reassured him it was just an idea and we could discuss it properly at the next meeting. But yes, my simple suggestion definitely ruffled his feathers more than I expected.
Poor Mia, just trying to suggest a bench. Mr. Henderson's reaction of irritation and finding problems with a simple idea clearly fits the idiom.
Exactly. Mia uses ruffle his feathers twice to describe Mr. Henderson's state of being slightly annoyed or agitated by her suggestion, which challenged his preference for the status quo. It perfectly illustrates causing minor irritation or upsetting someone's composure slightly. Listeners of Idiom Insights, what sorts of things tend to ruffle your feathers?
And with that exploration of minor annoyances, we conclude our deep dive into 4 more incredibly useful English idioms. It's been a great session covering a lot of ground. Let's quickly recap the phrases we've investigated.
It really has been insightful. Today on Idiom Insights, we explored pull out all the stops, to make the maximum possible effort, use all available resources, push the envelope, to go beyond accepted limits, to innovate or challenge boundaries, put one's foot in one's mouth, to accidentally say something embarrassing, tactless, or inappropriate, ruffle someone's feathers, to annoy, irritate, or upset someone slightly.
Excellent. We truly hope that our more expansive discussions today, providing extra context, exploring nuances, and linking the idioms to underlying concepts, have helped you gain an even richer understanding. Remember, the more deeply you understand an idiom, the more effectively you can use it.
Absolutely. Keep listening, keep reading, and keep thinking about the pictures these phrases paint. And if you found today's episode of Idiom Insights helpful and engaging on your language learning journey, we would be so very grateful if you could spare a quick second to leave us a like, a rating, or even a brief positive review. It makes a huge difference to us.
And please don't forget to make sure you are subscribed or following Idiom Insights. It guarantees you won't miss out on our future episodes as we continue to explore the endlessly fascinating world of English expressions together. We love having you as part of our wonderful global community.
We really do. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. Until next time, keep learning with passion, practice with confidence, and enjoy the amazing adventure of language. Goodbye for now.
Bye, everyone. Take care, stay well, and try not to put your foot in your mouth this week. Happy learning.